Okay, so I'm going to be taking a look at the devlog. I purposely haven't watched it yet, as well as this is going to be the monthly giveaway video. We'll get into the details of how to enter that in a second, but let's just start this, I suppose. Okay, so it looks like the first 2 minutes are just like a recap, so I'm just going to skip to this part.
The first thing currently in the works is reworking the implant system. We're implementing some changes to it, and one of them will be to ensure that using and removing implants is more intuitive and convenient.
Does not necessarily say cheaper. More intuitive and convenient. I mean, I suppose it could be both of those things. Still, it's a rework to the implant system, so there's more things that are going to change than just the removal cost. They'll be changing several things, I would imagine. Quite possibly including the percentage values on some of these implants, but we'll find out.
Also, you might remember that August is Mecharena's 3rd anniversary, so we're getting prepared for that. And of course, we wouldn't leave you without mentioning the brand new content coming soon. Keep in mind that the names aren't finalized yet, so they may change upon release.
So when they make a new mech or even a new weapon, I think, they always start with a code name, and that code name is what they put in the devlogs. It's never the name that it ends up being.
So let's begin. First up, Mechs. Get ready for 3 new additions to the arena. Let's start with the mech codenamed Mimic. Trust me, you're gonna love it.
That looks very, very cool. I already like them.
This is a legendary scout with a whooping
Damn it, legendary scout. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. It does look like a sort of redeemer type thing. Usually the dash mechs always have a wheel or something like that. So I think this will be one of the more interesting scouts. I find dash mechs to be kind of lame and repetitive, personally. So, well, let's see.
Energy capacity of 32 and a
Heavy
unique adaptive ability. How does it work? Mimic scans the enemy and receives a special boost which varies depending on which mech is scanned. Possible boosts can affect its attack, stealth, speed, shielding, or healing capabilities.
It's very interesting. So it depends on the enemy that you scan. And she listed 4 different things. I've already heard about this from people in my Discord, but some people are speculating that it could be based on each individual mech, or it could be based on the enemy mech's role, which, I mean, they didn't say role, they didn't say type of mech, they said depending on which enemy mech you're targeting, right? So it makes it sound like it's unique to every single enemy, but at the same time, it would probably be a programming nightmare to try to update that mech every single time a new one drops, and to make it have 35 different abilities. So it's practically it's more likely to be based on the mech type, but yeah, we'll see.
Advice: don't get too close to this fella. Our next contender, codenamed Phoenix, also has a special ability.
That looks very interesting. It looks like a Pokemon.
This legendary tank can't wait for it. Revive. Now you get the meaning of it.
So, okay, I do want to say this. The fact that it's essentially a healing mech, but it's still, again, it's not a support. It's a tank, and also I want to express that I am not a huge fan of floating tanks. I think they look awkward. I mean, it looks cool, right? The mech itself looks cool. I'm just saying, I think when it comes to floating things, it doesn't make sense for them to be tanks. You don't think of something that floats when you think of a tank. And also, give us a dang team healer instead of a freaking reviver.
Its working name. Here's how you do it. You pick a spot on the map and activate the ability. Phoenix will leave a mark there and its speed will increase. If an enemy kills it during the time its ability is active, Phoenix regains part of its HP and returns to the very spot where you activated the ability.
So it's kind of like, I would assume that it removes debuffs and stuff too. It's basically like Redeemer. It's basically a legendary Redeemer, is what I'm gathering here, which is very interesting. And I like the idea. I think it is cool. Another speed boost tank, specifically a speed boost floating tank. This is like incredibly similar to Vortex. I'm just gonna say that. But it is very interesting, and I think it could be really, really cool. I do wonder a few things. I wonder, I mean, they didn't say how much HP you'd regain, they just said a part, which makes me think that there's probably an implant that will give you additional revive HP, essentially. And also, I wonder if you respawn with partial HP mods or full HP mods, even. Because I feel like, I'm not going to lie, I don't think it's going to be that useful if your mods are gone and then you die and then you respawn back somewhere with like 30% HP and no mods. I don't think that would be very helpful. I think, like, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with 30% HP and no mods? At this point, you kind of need mods to be able to take any type of hit. So unless you're using a sort of camper weapon, or a weapon that you can at least somewhat camp with, then it's not going to be very helpful, I don't think. But remains to be seen. It sounds very interesting. I do like my tanks.
You'll need some strategic planning and good map knowledge to save the best spot for your revival, so get your homework done before Phoenix becomes available. Last but not least, we've got Checker. This attacker is going to have an ability...
I'm confused. What am I looking at? It's like a nomad with an oversized head and a seeker ring. Is this going to be another floater? I don't think we need this many. I think it's kind of an excessive number of floaters, I'm not going to lie. The design looks interesting, but yeah, another attacker that's floating and has a ring. Like, this is very similar to Seeker. And I'm assuming both of these are legendary, right? I don't remember if she said.
That is similar to one of our existing mechs. Take a look at it and try to guess which one.
Okay, so literally all they said was that it's similar. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it has something to do with teleporting and or dashing. It's literally just a nomad with a secret ring, okay? Now, maybe they want it to be similar to another attacker mech. This is another attacker mech, by the way. Which, give us a freaking... Where's the support? Where's the healer? Come on. This, like, drone thing at the top is very interesting. I almost feel like it has some sort of... I feel like it's in reference to something. I'm looking at kind of like the face structure, try to figure out what it looks like. Because, I mean, Seeker is already an attacker. They could make it a dashing attacker, but, like, I don't know why they would bother with that. I feel like it's supposed to be a legendary version of something else. I mean, literally their description was, it's similar to an existing one, which usually means that it's going to be just a legendary version of an old mech. I am tempted to say possibly Guardian. I can't think of like any other attacker that it's similar to. It doesn't necessarily have to be similar to another attacker, but since it is an attacker and I'm gonna assume that the ability is just a better version of something else. Probably it's kind of a Puma versus Panther situation.
While I'm leaving you with this little guessing game, let's see which weapons are going live in the arena soon.
New weapons.
Again, remember, the names are subject to change. Meet Sonic, a legendary close quarters weapon.
This looks very interesting. It looks like a stage light or whatever. You know the ones that I'm talking about.
It's got a pretty decent reload speed and is perfect for heated close-up clashes.
Okay, so decent reload, good for close quarters. Well, I mean, it's a close quarters weapon, so I would hope it's good for close quarters. The only thing that they're saying is that it has a reasonable reload speed. I would guess that there's something about it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to have like a status effect like Arc Torn or Ember Gun, but like all the close quarters weapons have like a very unique firing mechanic, at very least. Like Ember Gun's got the double tap. Repeater has like really high fire rate, and a unique recharge mechanic too, by the way. Revoker obviously has the initial hit and then the pullback. So if I had to guess, I would actually say this is like maybe a legendary arc torrent, like a beam of some kind. Like if you look at the design, it kind of looks sort of like a beam weapon. So if I had to guess, I'd probably say like a really short range beam that does a lot of damage. But yeah, we'll see. Looks interesting though.
Be sure to check it out once it's live. The other arrival we're expecting in-game is the slow machine gun,
Slow machine gun. Okay, that looks interesting. A legendary what?
legendary heavy-duty weapon.
Hey, there we go. That's what I was hoping you'd say. Now this looks very interesting. I wonder what they're going to say about it, or if they say anything about it.
Although it will have a relatively small magazine, each projectile will pack a lot of damage.
That's... that doesn't sound good. Because more than likely it'll have a really long reload. It'll be kind of like chain gun, I guess. Where your firing time isn't very long, but your reload time kind of is, and it's not really worth using. Like, even though chain gun got a massive buff, and it's much better. Arguably the DPS in most situations is actually better than miniguns. It's just that the practicality goes way down when you include the fact that, you know, the magazine's not very large. You gotta reload pretty much after every kill, and the reload is not tiny. So it makes me wonder. Also, that's a huge freaking magazine. What do you mean the magazine's small? Like, what is it shooting?
Perfect for shooting large, powerful mechs or finishing smaller, low HP enemies.
So, okay, so it sounds like it's going to be kind of like a rapid fire railgun, essentially, where like your RPM is pretty low. You got like maybe 1 shot per second, I'd guess. But each shot does a lot of damage, which kind of makes sense. Okay, fair enough. I would expect the magazine in that case to be like maybe 10. It's very interesting.
And now, a very long-awaited request of yours has been heard. We are releasing 2 new CPC maps.
2? Very nice. I mean, we saw the one. We saw the screenshot of the one. But I have not been aware of a second one. So I wonder if they're going to show us.
We're currently working on one that's part of the ongoing Age of Heroes event. And the other will be in a different theme that's more familiar to you. Any guesses on that?
I mean, they said a theme that's familiar. They literally show this thing in the background. This is the, I don't remember what it's called, but it's those 5v5 maps with like all the moving stuff. Which, lots of moving stuff in CPC. I will take it. I will take it. In fact, is this the 5v5 map or is this the CPC? Like, is this a preview of the CPC map? I can't actually tell. It doesn't look like any of the 5v5 ones, I'm not gonna lie.
We're planning to release these maps separately, so you'll have to wait a little longer for the second one, but we hope you'll love them both.
A little longer probably means like 2 to 3 months, but probably they will release at least the one that they give us the picture for. More than likely, that will be during the actual like anniversary event, which is very, very soon. All right, so the rest is rather inconsequential, but yeah, that's very interesting. Of the 3 new mechs that they're going to be doing, one of the first 2, because they didn't give specifics on the last one. So the first 2 that they showed, the Mimic and Phoenix, I believe. Those 2 they gave a relatively large amount of detail on. Usually if they give more detail, that means it's coming out sooner. For those of you who aren't aware, there is generally, they don't say this, but I've noticed the pattern. There's generally a 7-week gap between new mechs, which means, assuming 7 weeks, we should get one of the new mechs a week from the day this is uploaded, which should be the 16th. So that is when I am expecting it. Now maybe they do 2, because I mean, like, they showed 2, they gave 2 mechs with like a lot of detail. Maybe they're releasing 2 just because it's anniversary, but I don't think they've ever released more than 1 mech at a time, so it's unlikely. We will probably see one of those weapons as well. They gave a lot of detail on both of them, so it's kind of anyone's guess as to which one. Personally, I'm kind of hoping for the heavy-duty one because obviously I like my heavy-duty weapons, and I don't think a close quarters weapon is going to be that relevant anyway, because there's already Revoker. Revoker's just like stupid. So either it's less OP than Revoker and it's kind of irrelevant, or it's more OP than Revoker and we end up with something that's just like absolutely broken, and I don't really want that either. So I'm hoping for the heavy duty one. But otherwise, with any luck, we will get the implant system rework during the anniversary as well. But even though that was the first thing that they mentioned, they didn't give any details on it, which has me a little bit skeptical as to whether or not it's going to happen like that soon. But hopefully, it would be the right time to do it, I would say. Otherwise, yeah, in regard to the monthly giveaway, all you gotta do is leave a comment with ID : and then your in-game ID, like this on screen. Now, this part right here is what I'm going to be searching for. It's the keyword, essentially. So if you misspell it whatsoever, then your submission will not count, and you know you're not going to have any chance of getting 8 coins. So make sure you do it correctly. And if you can't get a comment, then feel free to go to Discord. The link to that is in the description. There's a place in my server for giveaway submissions. If you put it there, do not include the ID part. Just put your ID as a number, and that's all I want in there. All the details for like how to do that is in the pinned messages in that channel. So, you know, take a look at that, please, before putting your ID in there. Make sure you know what you're doing. But otherwise, yeah. 5 people will randomly win 1,008 coins each. It should arrive, whoever wins it should arrive by the 25th. So this giveaway is going to end on the 22nd. Usually I ended on the 19th, but since I started a few days late, we'll extend it a few days as well. So you got almost 2 weeks. Otherwise, yeah, that will be it for me. Appreciate y'all. Take care.